It's been a little over a week since Apple's monumental privacy update. We take a look at what the data shows us so far. Stay tuned.
Okay, Rich, I think for reference, we have to establish what we're talking about here. So I want to explain how we're going to, the lens we're going to look at this through. The App Tracking Transparency, which is the ATT, is the new privacy protection framework for Apple device owners, which the company first teased last summer.
Right.
We knew this was coming. With ATT, when an Apple device owner downloads or opens an app, a notification pops up asking if the user wants to be tracked across third-party apps and websites. And I actually got my first one this week. So this is relevant to me.
Yeah, and this is all part and parcel of the rollout of iOS 14.5.
Yep.
So, right, it's been a little over a week, right, since you and many others of us have started getting these notifications that they could turn off this cross-app tracking. So, what has actually happened?
Yep.
Well, it's clear that ad execs would need to get very creative, right, as they try to solve user consent challenges moving forward, certainly within the walls of Apple's App Store. Now, people aren't fans of sharing the data, right, in the identifier for advertisers, the IDFA, with their favorite apps, it seems, from the early data.
So what does the data tell us? Let's dig into some of the data.
Yeah, and I Digiday, again, have got a great article about this, where they're basically getting early feedback from a range of different ad tech executives, right? So it's early days, so, it's a murky picture right now, but, they're going to the source to see what the data is actually saying. So let's take a look at it. Now, basically, Bliss, say another ad tech vendor, in the article say that less than a third of the bid requests tracked by them over the first 3 days of the ATT rollout had an IDFA attached, compared to 70% that didn't have the mobile identifier. The numbers were also backed up by Bigabid, which is a mobile DSP that works with app developers over a similar period. And I want to read a quote from the article. The consent rate of users who are allowing tracking is around 33%, based on the limited view I have on apps. And that's from Ido Raz, who's the president and founder of ad tech vendor Bigabid.
Okay, so data's rolling in. We get it. It's early results. Results just in. But in the first 3 days, they're looking at around 33% of people are actually trackable now. So roughly 70% are going away. What do we have? Like, do they break it down in region? They break it down by country or vertical or anything?
Yeah, no, so there is some early data showing differences in regions, and we'll have to see how that bears out as time goes by. But in the US, for example, nearly half of the traffic on those devices that could receive the prompts opted in to sharing their data. It's 46%, so slightly less than half.
Wow.
Whereas in the UK and Australia, those rates dropped to 19% and 13% respectively.
So just to recap there, 46% of US people opted in, but only 19 and 13% across the UK and Australia.
That's correct. That is correct.
That's not enough.
No. So right, here's another quote, which is from the CTO of Bliss in the article. He said, but even the best case scenario we're seeing in the US still means advertisers are losing around half of your ability to identify iOS users. Losing half your reach on such a valuable audience is not a great situation to be in. Again, that's the CTO of Bliss.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm looking at this here. I mean, it's worth noting that Bliss was only seeing around 1.3% of its total traffic coming through in iOS 14.5, the new iOS,
right,
which introduced that AT&T update that we're talking about. And for context, that rate is growing around 50% per day. So the ad tech earthquake, it's about to happen. And what we're seeing is early seismic activity as people really get forced into and get these opt-ins as they update to iOS 14.5.
Right. And the CEO of Bliss has also got a quote here that's worth saying. This will be an early red flag to advertisers that are relying on media buying strategies based solely on retargeting mobile ad IDs, as they stand to lose anywhere from half up to about 80% of their reach.
80% of your reach gone. What do you do as an advertiser? I mean, this is crazy. Advertisers, I know they've been on the fence. They don't really know what to do next. And next week, I want to have an article. I need a week. Right now, the new fronts and some upfronts are happening. Advertisers are spending tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars with media companies. And there's some really incredible things happening there. So what I'm seeing there, I'm not going to reveal it yet, mimics this, though. Advertisers don't know what to do. They don't have enough data.
Right.
They don't know how many people they're actually going to be able to target. There's no mobile identifiers. The third-party cookie is gone soon. Even if they had a plan, I don't think they know how to execute, which is, remember, in the IAB report, the digital ad ecosystem report that was published in March of 2021, IAB said the greatest pitfall in advertising is that the players, the advertisers, the agencies, everyone in the middle, aren't ready for what they have for the change. And they use the word lethal in the IAB report. And this is the first data coming in to say that, it's coming true.
Yeah, and folks don't need to worry because it's only affecting a really small part of the mobile ecosystem. Apple.
Well, for the IDFA, yeah. But again, what did Apple just say this week? Yeah. They're trying to up their, they were big on privacy. Now all of a sudden they're bringing their ad, platform back to life.
It's Apple. It is the majority of the mobile ecosystem. This is a hugely disruptive thing that we're just seeing the early waves as this update is rolled out. And we know that there's going to be a hit on digital advertising costs as well. So right now, the article states that we've seen a 30% drop in CPM rates between those users with the IDFA and those without it. I mean, that's very early data, but it's a significant hit on the CPM rates.
Bottom line, yeah.
Now, if all else fails, it does seem like some marketers seem content to sort of pause what they're doing or even reallocate or pull spending money intended for iOS campaigns, right? So some advertisers are already pulling dollars, albeit a small proportion, away from iOS and then pouring it into Android, according to the 6 mobile ad execs interviewed for the DigiDay article.
Whoa, so there's a seismic shift. Man, this is like Russian roulette, just bouncing around with your ad dollars. And I saw here, there's another quote that I wanted to read here that you sent my way. And this is from Kunal Nagpal, who's the general manager of publishing platforms and the exchange at ad tech vendor InMobi. And what he said is, the brand guys are not ready and their dollars are going to go all over the place as everything from frequency capping to retargeting gets broken. There's this belief among marketers that there are enough screens, whether it's mobile, web, desktop, or CTV, that they can just divert the money. And I agree with what he says. That is a short-term solution.
Oh, no question. This is just sort of surviving the early bumps. It's not a long-term solution.
So what do advertisers do?
Well, look, I'm going to make a pitch here to everybody watching Thinking Caps, and that is, go and check out a webinar that we just did with Loyalty 360. It's the largest loyalty association in the world, which is entitled, Why is Loyalty the Key to Surviving the Death of the Cookie? You can watch that on demand. It'll help you create strategies to build those direct-to-consumer relationships, which Google, as we've said many times on Thinking Gaps, is stating is absolutely paramount to survive this new age of privacy that we're entering into, and that they will support all manner of different innovative ways to do great personalized advertising if you've got the first-party relationship. So go check that out.
Yep.
And then lastly, zero-party data. We've said it many times, but you need to start thinking about how you can collect data that you can use to do personalized advertising directly from the consumers with their consent. And that's what zero-party data is all about. We've got some great pieces of content for you to go and look at cheetahdigital.com, but I also will recommend a 10-minute watch of the Pure Archery Group, which you did as an interview, where they actually stepped through the massive impact the zero-party data strategy had on their advertising, on their marketing, and their business as a whole. So check that out.
We're at time. Thanks for watching. 2 great resources, cheetahdigital.com. We will see you next time.